Here comes the last presentation of this block. It's entitled Elevating Software Development, Strategies for Quality Assurance Integration, and it's presented by Marcin Duvel. He's a software engineer at Epsilon, and he has been working on our team since 2015. He has learned a lot about the crucial aspects of sharing the clean R code. He started with application of statistical methods, then with banking apps in Shiny, then bioinformatics, and finally the whole scope of data science projects delivered by Epsilon Company. So, Marcin, thank you very much for being here, and the floor is yours.
Thank you, Oriol. Yeah, it's good to be back on stage. I will talk about the strategies for quality assurance integration in the enterprise Shiny projects, of course. And yeah, I have this very professional title, Elevating Software Development with QA. But, there was this voice keep saying in my head that why so serious? And yeah, maybe let's do it a little bit differently. And hopefully you will like it, and it will stick in your brain after the conference better. Yeah, so let's follow that voice and go for a trip to the Gotham City. The city of crime, but also full of characters that will serve us as metaphors for real life project structures. And I will use those analogies to explain the concept of the quality assurance and how to incorporate that into projects. To build this mental model, because getting this idea right will be a key for success here. Okay. So what we will do today, we will embark on a journey, and our hero here will be the project quality. So as usually in hero stories, we will start with some peaceful, stable state, which I call the developer's quality. So how the development team perceive the quality and how they would like to work. And then, of course, some villains will appear and will disturb our steady state. But we will gather the experience and wisdom along our journey. Still, we will keep failing a little bit, but with extra guidance, extra support from our friends, we'll come back home safely, and we can ensure that there is enough quality in our project. Okay, so you might be wondering like what he's talking about with this Gotham, and why the quality assurance is a topic during Shiny conference. Extended tasks sounds like a good fit, but why quality? So I consider Shiny projects to be particularly exposed to issues with quality. And what I mean here, there are two reasons for that. We are often operating in the non-software environment. So I guess you've all seen some small proof of concepts by the data science department that grew up to a production level tool in the enterprise, or some dashboard that suddenly started becoming something more, and it wasn't supposed to. So like rarely when we are approaching Shiny project, we have in mind that, okay, that will be a software tool and we are building this with all the software engineering best practices. When you compare it to projects in React, for example, and it's like clear like that this is what you're doing. Here we often start with some initial data analysis, and we are working and the projects are managed with people with the domain expert knowledge, but not the software development. And the same when we take a perspective of the development teams or people building Shiny applications. They come from different backgrounds. They're like we all here are great people with vast knowledge, with a lot of expertise, a lot of experience in R, but we are coming from different domains. Like I have masters in econometrics, and I had to learn these software skills along the way. So for those two reasons, I see that our Shiny projects are in particularly vulnerable to have problems with the quality. Okay, so let's move on. And I think we heard yesterday that it's not a good sign when there is a disclaimer in the presentation. So yeah, there will be a disclaimer that, yeah, the case that I'm talking about will be fictional, but they are based on the actual real project delivered by Epsilon. And a little bit about me. So now I will introduce myself a little bit more. By working at Epsilon, I have a general overview as a staff engineer. I'm responsible for the Epsilon Craftsmanship Initiative that is focused on the quality processes that we have across all Shiny projects in the company. But also, I am a delivery manager for the largest collaboration that's going on for years with Epsilon, with two separated Shiny teams, quality assurance roles, and maintaining this quality is a big topic there. So by combining those two, I think I have a quite good overview, and I was able to build this mental model of how this quality should look like. This is also supported by some materials from the industry. You know, this is not a new topic. It's covered a lot in the software engineering, and we will also talk about that a little bit. Okay, so we will start bringing to the presentation our characters from Gotham that will represent the roles we have in the project. Of course, there is no Shiny application without the developers, and they will be represented by the Gotham Police, which is like not the easiest career choice you might have. But it's quite fit them well because those people, this is their daily job to fight the crime in Gotham City. They follow the best practices and rules. And the crime here, what that our developers are dealing with, it's the increment that we as developers are creating on a daily basis. So it both, features, bug fixes, all the stuff that we are adding to our project. Okay, and the important thing that we need to have when we are talking about the quality, and if we don't have it, then we can basically like skip to the last slide when I'm talking about quality assurance, but the automation of the tests. So basically like putting our criminals into jail, into the Arkham Asylum, for example, that will make sure that they won't come back on the streets, and we won't need to again and again deal with them in our city, in our project. About the testing, automation, and those topics, check later today. There will be a talk by Jakub Sobolewski about test-driven development. I highly recommend this. So the developer's perspective is that this quality is controlled by the development team, and they have space and focus for testing, automation, handling tech debt. And this is this peaceful, stable state that we would like to achieve in all projects. Okay, but as I mentioned, there will be some challenges. And if you've ever worked with this enterprise setup, you've probably encountered some of them. And when I'm talking about enterprise setup, I meant that there is a software development like Shiny happening for a company where it's not the key area of their business. So they might have some domain expertise and they want to create tools helping in their work processes, but it's not what they are doing. Life science companies will be a little bit different topic because there the quality it's on a different level. So usually in those cases, it will be handled differently. So I'm mostly talking about different industries, banking, insurance, entertainment, etc. Okay, so what might happen and what are the three things that I find most common happening? So we might introduce the mayor, so some product owner or stakeholder, so someone that is giving orders to the police department of like that they should fight more crime, and focus more on dealing uh, with the criminals on the streets of our project. We might also have some bigger project issues that are not related directly to what we are doing. So those might be like some, data issues. There are always problems with data in projects. There might be performance, scalability things. There might be some other technical but not related to the daily basis stuff happening. And my personal favorite, outside managers bringing chaos to the project. So that might be someone external to the project that try to take over the budget that you are using, or undermine your work, proving that it's low quality because they want to introduce their tool that their team is working on to be a company standard. So maybe there was some merge acquisition and there is suddenly a competing team, and they want to undermine what you're doing, and you need to prove that your project is valuable, it's high standard, stable, and the best quality. Dealing with all of those issues takes away the attention first on this automation, quality, and dealing with the tech debt, and it results in the usually more work for our developers. So dealing with them, it's represented by more crime to fight. So in this environment, when we not it's not the goal for all the parties involved in the project to focus on quality, we are ending up with lowering this bar. And first of all, that we are cutting off, it's the quality and automation. And if you think that there is a mess on this slide, like think about the project, how it looks like. Okay. The next thing is, and I will mention it just briefly here, it's how we are dealing with those issues by standard at Epsilon. The quality assurance that I will talk later, it's not that we include in all the projects, but those three roles, we have them in all our projects. So there is a project leader that their responsibility is to make sure that team can work without any obstacles, and that priorities are well aligned. So I use some R&D and support to bring a fancy toys for our police department to be able to easier fight the crime in Gotham. Then, and this is very important in every Epsilon project, there is a tech leader. So someone that is making sure that the team works on appropriate quality level. However, this is also the first person that will be overloaded with all the issues mentioned on the previous slide. And also, every Epsilon project has a delivery manager, represented here by the butler, because this is the very idea to serve the team with the experience, guidance, to focus and to keep remembering that we need to focus on impact, and quality is a way to achieve impact in our applications. Those roles are always there. There is not always a space and the budget to separate those roles from the development team. And as I mentioned, those will be also affected by the ongoing daily issues caused by those external villains appearing in the project. They are not the topic of today, so we are leaving them alone here, and we are moving back to our police with more responsibilities right now because we are not in our perfect state. So our developer is overwhelmed with work and other topics, and what will happen is that the errors will occur. Let's represent it with those dash arrows here. And now, at this stage of the project, there is very tempting idea to add a next step with some testing team. So here it will be a district attorney that makes a decision whether like this is a good citizen or true crime, and whether we should put them to jail. Um, it's not necessarily in the projects like some professional testers. Sometimes there's like business consultants, other team members. Um, the important thing here is that they are doing manual tests, and those tests are at the end of the process. So once the team is ready with the development, they are taking over and manually testing it, whether um, it should be included in the application. So they are acting as those gatekeepers, and the development and quality checks are separated in this scenario. With this sequence, the developers they have no incentive to invest in automated testing, because yeah, there are dedicated people to do the testing later. And so you get me right. I have nothing against manual testing of the application, and this is crucial, and this is important to include, that someone is actually clicking through the application, even for checking the user experience. Like there is no yet automated tool to check the user experience. Maybe with the AI tooling, we will get something like that. So it's fine, but it's only working short term, and it's not scaling, and it's not preventing us to reintroducing the bugs that were already solved, or breaking something that was already working. And this approach is vulnerable to switch to turn into quickly to some villain that will be blocking our work, not actually helping, and will delay all the processes. And you can read a lot of the use cases that how it proved to be inefficient, because the goals, when we separate development and quality, the goals are misaligned. The team is not focusing on the same as the testing team. There are delays caused by ping ponging the tickets that, okay, this is done, and then testing, I found a bug, coming back to developer team, they solve the bug, move it again to testing team, and we have those cycles. And basically, we are creating mini waterfalls during our processes. That team is working on some requirements, then it's tested, and then it's deployed. You can read more test cases on different blogs. Here are two examples, and a nice story of how Microsoft, they used to have a role of software development engineer in test, SDET, which sounds really great when you think about that there are people focused on testing, and it was not working. And there are multiple reasons why. Again, it was separating the two. Okay, let's move on. And I think that you know where this presentation is heading to. We are missing one character, and it's of course Batman, our quality assurance. And I consider this a really powerful metaphor because Batman has the same goal as the police department. He has he just has the different schedule, and this is what we want to achieve. That the quality assurance is focused on improving the processes and not the ongoing work. So police department is fighting crime during the day, while Batman is active during the night and solves the most important issues, or the processes like corruption within the police department. And he is not meant to replace the police or check their work at all. Um, Still, the police officers, the developers, are doing the testing work. Quality is built in the development, but uh, quality assurance sets the standards and provides the guidelines of how to do it. He's, the symbol of quality. Um, okay, and he makes the team ready for the unexpected villains. So takes care of testing reports, documentation, and he looks outside the current work. What might be the risks to mitigate? So when we are facing the challenges um, or this chaos external managers, we are ready to prove that the project is the great quality, documented, ready and stable to be a production application. So this is the key point, that quality assurance is working in parallel with the development team, and it's unblocking them when there is a mess in the project, unblocking the architecture and getting ready for the issues. I also really like the Batman metaphor, because if you know the comics or movies, he is a regular human being without any superhero skills. And this is exactly what this is about. We are not talking here about any superhuman developer. It's just about operating differently than the regular developers. And yeah, if you don't believe me, there is no need to do that. Check the resources that I shared. There is a great talk by the continuous delivery channel, Dave, there, about how bringing those different perspectives to the table of the developers. So like how to do the work, uh, product owners, so like what to do, and quality assurance of how to test it, how to make it stable and reliable, how it is useful for the any agile development. But as I mentioned, Shiny projects I consider extremely vulnerable for those issues. Okay, that will be all. So thank you very much. Um, Please share your experience with the quality at your projects, your Shiny projects. I will be super interested in that. And yeah, think about that, of how you can support the developers to get out of the problems and um, bring them back to this stability and quality with the support of quality assurance engineers. Thank you very much.
So thank you, Marcin. Yeah, it has been very interesting, and we really like it that you added this dramatic touch to the presentation. And yeah, one question could be about the timing. So it has been clear that it's we need quality assurance cares about the process, but how to align both rhythms. So if developers work by sprints, with which frequency or how to include a quality assessment, so the changes, actions, suggestions it can bring can be implemented during the development or during the plan, the time we have for developing a particular project.
Yeah, good question. So first of all, I'm not suggesting that this should be a default role. So the first, what we want to achieve is that developers handle the quality themselves. Um, when we see a problems, this is just an idea that we can use instead of introducing, for example, manual testing. And if we are worried that from the very beginning we will have issues, maybe the team is not experienced, then yeah, we start together with someone responsible for this quality testing and automation. But in general, those groups are working together. It's just about unblocking the team, and yeah, this working in parallel, that quality is unblocking, but the developers are doing the testing work themselves. It's really important. So there is no delay in those actions. and we should really avoid that. And if you spot in the project that it's happening, that you're developing, and maybe in next sprint you're planning that tests will happen by the quality engineer, that's a really red flag that, okay, it's not the point, it's not how it should work. We are doing it together. So police is working during the day, Batman is working during the night, but it's the same 24 hours time frame. They are really working closely together.
Yeah, that was very clear. Thank you.